I am here.
Elise?
Present.
Valeria?
Yeah.
Leomore?
Oh, here.
Rudy?
Yes.
Awesome. Valeria, can you hear me? Oh, I can hear her typing.
If my microphone was registering, but I'm here.
Okay, I gotcha. Alright, who would like to do a recap of what happened last session?
Waiting to see if someone else would do it.
I believe last session we chased a guy around for 4 hours.
Answered Benny Hill fame.
We got laughed at and mocked and nothing.
Take
The
it
little
away,
shit
Dan.
ran away.
Last time on A Brave New World, the adventurers woke from a horrible nightmare. One that was a memory to Valeria. Upon heading out into the town that was burning, they found the boy Bertrand hovering in the sky. Zurich stepped up, challenging the boy, calling him lesser, and Zurich was his better. The boy laughed, mocking Zurich, and then continued to mock the rest of the adventurers. Proceeding to attack the boy while hoping to stop the fires, the battle got very intense, and then a bear was summoned that was on fire. The bear wasn't doing too much until suddenly this orphan used magic that was unknown to the group. Some of them were teleported elsewhere, taking massive damage. The bear was eventually dispatched, and Zurich continued to question the boy and attempt to take him out by other means. Once the boy realized things weren't going his way, he was outnumbered, he chose to be a little smarter. He attacked Valeria specifically with a spell that forced everyone to stay away while damaging her. She could not dispel it, as the rest of the adventurers attempted to chase the boy. Around the town he flew, flinging spells, playing hide-and-go-seek and mocking the group, while all the while asking, "Where is the man with the eye patch?" He didn't seem to listen when everyone responded, "We have no idea where he is." Eventually, he attempted to probe Valeria's mind, after nearly dropping a few of the party members. The boy eventually escaped, as the adventurers put out the fires and helped some of the folk pick up the pieces. 3 youths decided they wanted to stay with the adventurers, offering assistance. The group eventually accepted, taking them on as hirelings as they prepared to go into the mountains in search of this mysterious person who's been experimenting on the people of the Barrowlands. What will happen now? Find out on today's episode of A Brave New World.
Alright, on, give yourself a point of inspiration. Those of you, if you had inspiration the last session, and didn't use it during the fight, the inspiration is gone, so everybody should be at 0 and Thalion should be at 1. So I'm going to move you to the traveling map. Okay, you guys have left the burnt down husk of the town of Erstdale. You have picked up 3 new souls. I sort of wish to sort of tag along, feeling that it's probably safer with you guys than it is sort of trekking through the woods back to the south to get back to the way towns. And you took them on as sort of hirelings to be, kind of seeing how they pull their weight, seeing what they do, and make your choice if you can get them back safely. You guys have reached the large cyclopean, somewhat, what's the word I'm looking for? Somewhat obelisk-like stone, with large gashed out runes on them in a very crude sort of language. And this is the Wintercap Stone, and as you look up, the Rangers stare, you realize that this is going to be hell on your wagon.
How wide is the path?
It's probably wide enough for like 2 horses to ride side by side, and that's riding horses. This isn't a mountain pass. This isn't like Hellgate Pass. This isn't the pass near Bottenberg that leads over into Estock. This isn't a well-maintained road. This is a ranger trail, something that's used to go into the mountains to either explore and or scout.
So it is probably safer to leave the cart, but take the horses.
I concur that it would be best if we take the stuff out of the cart and leave it. I mean, I think the village we're leaving is abandoned anyway, right? Didn't the people leave? Because the village burned down?
They did leave, yes.
Yeah, so we could probably find a place in the burnt down village to store our cart until we return.
I feel slightly torn about my own. I mean, I could carry my supplies for alchemy, but what we have to go through, I don't know. I'm honestly very torn about this one.
Anything
Well, a
of major
horse-
importance I can put in the bag of holding.
Yeah, a horse can carry like 500 pounds. So if you and your gear weigh 200 pounds, you can still put 300 more pounds of stuff on horse.
Especially a draft horse. They can carry quite a bit on them. And
Yeah, our
wagon
movement
horses
can be
are draft.
our movement can be a little slow. That's fine as long as we're carrying what we need. Whatever Zarak will say this in character. Whatever we cannot carry, we should just leave behind. It's not like we intend to never see this cart again.
I suppose to bring some of my things then. I mean, you never know when I need to make another drop on a whim, eh?
While I'm thinking of it, I know Noble here that I bought I can ride, as Zarek and Valeria have their horses. Who else knows how to ride a horse?
My
Tristan.
experience only goes to that one night.
Tristan, your hunter, raises his hand, so does Welf.
Perfect. I'll put you two in charge of our 4th horse.
Valeria, you make a solid point. Perhaps Squickwick is just becoming a little more trouble than he's worth, and my eyes narrow at the little rodent man. Or perhaps he can be put to better use and not be confused as being associated with us if we just have him walk about a mile ahead of us along the trail. He can run back and warn us of danger.
I don't know. I'll turn to Squickwick. How do you feel about being out here? Because we are going to have to leave the cot behind.
He just shakes his head no.
Oh, come now, you'll be protected by us.
He'll just be walking ahead of us, you know. He can squeak for danger.
Moonlight here will keep an eye on the large rodent. Probably both of them.
Oh, I'm sure Moonlight would absolutely love that idea. as Moonlight's thinking, snack, 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 snack.
Yeah, that would feed my bird for a week.
Actually, Squickwick, how well are you at being light-footed?
He just kind of looks at you, confused.
How do I put this? You know, being sneaky, being quiet, being able to sneak around and not get seen.
I'm pretty sure he's very good at that.
Quick. Okay, sneak.
Okay. Maybe he could be of use. Although we will have to do something about your eyes, which sadly I don't have him. I don't suppose we have anything to cover his eyes.
We got him a cloak last time. Throw it on him.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Don't you have a jacket or a cloak that fits him?
You need him disguised?
Probably to keep him warm and able to see, since his eyes are very sensitive to the daylight.
Something with a hood should be fine. I mean, he's
Zarak finds all this fussing over the big giant rat a huge waste of time and is kind of chuckling a little bit at the ridiculousness of it all. Make sure he's warm and comfortable. Fuck, you wouldn't do that to a dog. So I'm
Right.
just laughing about it back here in the back.
You don't know you haven't seen the people my mother associates with and their dogs.
She probably knits them little sweaters.
Oh dear. Well, if we have a spare cloak, I suppose we should give him one.
Hey, Thalion, you think he'd fit in your bag of holding? We could just store him in there.
He probably
True.
would, but I've heard tell that anyone going into a bag of holding would probably die. Something
Give
tells
me
me
an
you
intelligence
did this.
Says this is the first bag of holding Thalion has ever encountered in his life.
Good point.
Oh no!
This sounds like a great idea, Thalion.
Hey,
I'm sure he doesn't weigh very much.
Zero
I mean-
is probably really interested now, and he's like, let's experiment.
I'm really curious now if we can just carry him around in the bag, and if we need him, we just pull him out.
He kind of lets go of your robe, Leomorn, as everybody's sort of looking at him, and Thalion's like getting ready to procure this bag. And he's just kind of like slowly backing away, just like shivering with terror.
Wait a minute! There has to be some
come
other
now.
option.
It'll be a warm, safe place. You'll have plenty of things to play with inside the bag.
Wait,
Like,
no,
you
I
did-
don't want him messing with the stuff in there.
Let's
His bottom lip begins to quiver a bit.
We could try
Right now,
something
I'm
else.
wishing I had the enlarge reduce thing so I could turn him into a tiny little field mouse and throw him in the bag.
Well, Squigwick knows the mountain, right? I mean, couldn't he just guide us up the mountain?
No, he
You know.
specifically told us
Yeah.
he goes underground. This is going to be unfamiliar to him.
So he'd be no good as a scout in the front of us, huh?
Could just leave him with the cart. It's not like he can run off with it as big as it is without the horses. And he can watch whatever you leave inside there, Leomorn.
No, but Squigwick could run off back to his own kind and tell his own people about what we're up to. Just a thought.
I'll just turn to Squigwick and kneel down to get to his level. Like, well, it's gonna be a very dangerous trek. I'm gonna leave this choice to you. Do you want to come with us up the mountain?
I mean, he's still looking around, and he's sort of backing up still, kind of like wringing his hands.
So, you don't have to come with us, though. You can actually stay with the cart and, of course, protect it.
Now hold on, I do not agree with that. There's some of my stuff in that cart, and I don't want people touching it.
But it's up to you, Squigwick. You can stay with the cart if you like.
He runs back, and then he grabs onto your robes, Leomorn.
So, are you coming? Or are you staying?
Looks like it's your responsibility. Have him carry some of your stuff if you wish. And I'm gonna start packing the tents onto my horse Noble.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Hey, that is true, Lemon. Maybe you could ask Squigwick to carry your backpack.
I can't even carry that whole thing by itself. I don't think he would either.
Exactly. You guys could split the load. Sharing is caring.
I'll shake my head and... Well, I guess you'll be coming along then. I don't think I have much importance to take other than my alchemist supplies.
So you guys are leaving the wagon here along the side of the mountains that you guys trekked to last session?
How long did we trek to get to this spot from the village we left?
It took you guys about a day and a half to get here from the village.
Okay, so yeah, that's probably the only place unless we want to risk taking the cart along the pass. Yeah, I think we're parking it here and trying to secure it before we go along this pass.
Okay. I'll say, so do you guys try to hide it, like, underneath, like, some deadfall, or do you guys make it look like it's an abandoned wagon, or...
Probably try and do a little bit of both. Try to make it look abandoned and then use, like, debris and deadfall to cover it up as well.
Okay. I'll need a survival check for you guys to make a sort of convincing camouflage.
I offer to utilize my magical techniques to burn it slightly so that it matches the rest of the stuff in the village.
We're not near the village. We're like a day and a half away from the village.
Oh, I thought we hadn't left the village yet. Okay.
Nope, you guys are at the base of the mountain now, sort of looking up and realizing that taking a wagon up here is going to be pretty rough.
Okay, then yeah, we definitely have to hide it in the brush.
Does my 20 survival work?
Yeah, I was saying you make a pretty passable camouflage, trying your best to sort of hide it behind deadfall and dirtying it up enough to make it look like it's been there a while and abandoned.
Alright then. Is everybody ready?
I believe I got everything.
So what is being left inside the wagon?
Well, I took the tents and sleeping bags and packed them on the horse. Most everything else Stallion had was in the bag of holding. So, did anyone else leave anything in the cart?
Nothing of use. I think we still have those Hagen spear stuff, but they're not useful to us, so
Do you think you'd be able to fit my lockbox in the bag of holding?
I think that's the only thing.
Easily.
Okay, good, because I don't really want to leave that behind.
I'm definitely leaving the 5 torches in there. There's no way I'm gonna lug all 5 of them at once.
So if I can fit the lockbox in the bag of holding, I'm leaving a crowbar and a block and tackle with 50 feet of rope.
Yep, I am leaving behind the 5 torches. Figuring I could survive without a mess kit for now.
I don't know, if I make soup, you're not gonna have a bowl to put it in.
Oh, fine. I'll take the mess kit because of the soup. Not my fault you make a damn good soup.
And you'll also have to use your fingers to eat anything and everything with.
We also have a new cook with us too, so in the hirelings, I believe. So we can experiment a little bit with different flavors.
No, none of the fish sauce, please.
Oh no, the fish sauce wouldn't be for you.
Leomorn, there is an extra horse that the hirelings are watching. Why don't you wrap up your torches and anything you're having trouble carrying and strap it to the horse?
As long as they don't mind.
Yeah, it's the 4th horse that we have.
Tristan, Welf, do you mind watching a few of Leomorn's things on the horse?
I can give it a go. I think Wealth will be ranging out in front for most part. We'll probably be switching off if that's what you want.
That works. There you go, Leomorn.
I definitely do need to pay back the kindness at some point.
So, in your bag of holding, Thalion, add a 30-pound iron lockbox. And you'll have to speak to Drummond to find out whatever's in there, and you can either calculate a coin weight or whatever that's in there and make sure you add that in.
Okay.
Okay, so Welf will range ahead. Tristan is riding on a horse with... Who's riding with Tristan? Because there's going to be 2 people per horse, which means some people are going to be walking. Like, Rovanian's walking.
How many horses do you have?
We have 4 horses.
Can you bring up our tokens and we'll just decide on here?
No, you guys can drag them on if you want them. Because Faye is riding with Valeria.
Whoever wishes to ride with me, come along. I'll be in the front with Guard Shadow on Noble.
Four horses.
So let's see. So we already got one with Valeria, and she's already got somebody.
Rudy is welcome to ride with me if she wants.
I will accept your offer.
I'll full up.
Oh, I forgot about Moonlight. Never mind.
Moonlight is going to be flying above us anyway. Because I usually ride with my eyes closed and just look through Moonlight's eyes. So, you guys don't mind.
I'll ride with Dahlia.
Elise, you can ride with me if you need to.
Sure, I'd love to.
Excellent. I might even actually, if you're interested, let you take the reins and kind of guide the horse if you want. Because I kind of doze off in the saddle anyway, while I'm looking through Moonlight's eyes. So, you're welcome. You're welcome to learn how to ride or get practice at it if you need it, kind of thing.
I could try. I've never handled a giant animal before, so yeah.
Yeah, so Mark, that's my intention, is basically just to I'm going to kind of teach Elise how to ride a bit, how to command the horse, and then every once in a while just lose interest and look through Moonlight's eyes and let her struggle with it.
As you just see us going around in a circle and around.
I'm gonna leave it to Mark to determine whether or not she's struggling or doing fine if initiative is rolled.
Yeah, because I don't think she's never rid a horse before, so she's like, what's a rein? Oh, you mean the rope things on the horse's mouth?
Both off and runs away. That'd be great.
Right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We're just gonna stand there for a few minutes, and Zarek's gonna be like, you can tell it to giddy up.
Roman, you and Lamorn can D20 off to see who wants to ride with Tristan.
I've been singing the cot a lot. Hey, this would be about time I do a little bit of that exercising.
Seated 2.
Oh god.
He already forfeited, so Droman gets to ride on the
Crossbow.
horse.
I call crossbow.
The crossbow. I could use a little bit of exercise in the legs.
Okay, so you guys begin to ride slowly up the very rocky trail. Almost a sheer. Okay. Welf takes off before you guys sort of going. He sort of salutes, takes the quiver and bow, and sort of goes up pretty fast by himself up the trail, looking side to side before he vanishes up around a small bend. And you guys begin to slowly ride to abreast, the two walking behind, Leomord and Rovanian. Leomorn, it's been a while since you've done something this physically intensive, walking up a pretty rocky shale trail, kind of going up the side of this mountainside and cliff face. And your legs are already burning, and you watch as like Rovanian just kind of looks at you. Are you okay?
I'm fine. It's
He
been a
just
while.
kind of gives you a hard slap on the back, and you see that he's having like no problems at all. He's sort of making his way up.
It's just been a while since I've done this much walking. Riding in the car was kind of like a spoiled treat. Can you tell me how the hell you do this all the time? As he just slow shuffles his way just to keep up.
You'll make it. And you guys just keep moving up. The temperature, even at this small elevation as you guys have been sort of riding for an hour, does begin to cool off immensely. Compared to sort of like the kind of strange trapped humidity within that valley in the Barrowlands. The thickness of the air begins to sort of dissipate as this sort of fresh tasting sweet air begins to sort of brush and kiss your skin, and it feels exhilarating. It feels like for the first time you guys are free of whatever burden you guys had before down there. The vistas, as you continue to climb and look over the ridges, are breathtaking. Not the dour sort of pine forests, but small waterfalls broken in with these sort of crisscrossing and snaking alpine forests that are kind of cutting their way through in the valleys in between the large peaks. And you look up top as these snow-capped mountains almost seem to be coated in powdered sugar, just how perfect the view is from here without these sort of constant cloudy sky that seems to mar all the light. After about another 3 or 4 hours, you guys begin to crest through the mist and the low-hanging cloud of the valley, and for the first time in a long time you see blue sky. You feel the sun on your skin. You feel dry. You don't feel like you're constantly sweating. There is no rain. It feels good.
Dalian kind of just closes his eyes and takes in the air at this area.
You guys look back, and Leomorn is dying. Leomorn, give me a Constitution saving.
Oh no!
He's hanging in there. He's breathing heavy. He's sweating. He looks a little pale, but you see him he's really making this effort to sort of keep pace with Rovanian, who's just sort of back behind the line of slowly clopping horses that kind of wend their way up this sort of trail. And there seems to be no end to this climb in sight. As we turn next again, looking down at the sharp drop-off now, and you guys can see that you're a good 1,000 feet from the valley below. You've been traveling for a good 6 to 7 hours, slowing down, stopping every now and then, but you guys are making pretty good time. The weather is ideal to travel in. There's nothing really marring your sight. You have a good view in front of you and a good view to the back. You have the cliff face on your right shoulder, and you have the cliff drop off to the left. And it's like driving down like a janky mountain pass at a national park, where you look down and there's maybe only like a wood railing separating you from the 1,000-foot drop off to the bottom of the trees. But it's beautiful.
I do just want to make sure Thalion is keeping an eye out for any marks that he knows Ellie would have made for trails.
Okay. Moonlight can give me another perception check too. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Just Moonlight, or did you want me to also?
You can go ahead. I know that Moonlight gave an initial perception check and it turned out to be. Lamorn, what's your passive perception?
That would be an 11.
Okay.
I apologize again for my dogs. They decided to take turns barking.
Okay, Rovanian doesn't notice either. As you're making your way up, Thalion, and sort of looking out, there's no markers that you can visibly see as you sort of pay attention to the side walls. Anything that might be used to lay down a marker, but you don't know how far up this trail she started laying trail markers. The directions you can sort of saying over in your head, you know, they're pretty explicit on where to go until you get to a place where it says follow her markers.
Yeah, so you shouldn't have to worry until you see Middleburg.
After a while, Garshadow's ears perk up, and you see him sort of stand a little straighter, and then lower his shoulders a little bit and begin to move forward. And then you begin to hear it as well. Moonlight comes back and speaks in your mind, Zirak. Someone coming. And then you see Welf sort of jogging around the corner, coming back down the trail, sweating, shirt drenched, holding the bow. Sort of stops as he sees you all, takes a long chug of water before putting the skin back, and sort of just kind of leans and rests on his knees for a bit.
Everything clear up ahead?
I didn't see nothing, but there's a place to camp about another mile up the road. It'll be getting dusk soon, and anything we can do to start a fire up here might be the best bet. I have a feeling the nights are going to get cold.
That sounds like a good plan. I'm sure Leomord would like the rest.
I'm fine! I can keep going for days!
Nice job, kid. Lead the way.
You guys go up about another mile, and there you find what seems to be a sort of almost cutout in the cliff face. Just large enough to sort of press back away from the trail, probably about 20 feet. This sort of like 20 by 10 foot, not an escarpment, but just sort of a kind of like a curved cut into the cliff face, almost like a half tent, the way it's been made and carved out. There you see the old remains of what looks to be a fire, though it looks like it hasn't been used in a long time. The charcoal sort of turned whitish gray just from the dryness up here, and as you sort of pick it up, it just crumbles in your hands. You guys begin to sort of set up camp as best you can in this small space. There is plenty of dry wood, branches and roots of old trees that have sort of grown into the side of the mountain that have kind of like given up. Just not a lot of nutrients up here to live off of for too long. And you guys do easily get a fire going.
I will pull out my cooking utensils from my saddlebags and begin setting up to make a good dinner for everybody. And I'll bring the hireling over that wants to learn how to cook, and kind of show them what I do. Share trade secrets.
Okay, so you call Faye over, and then she comes over, and she's kind of watching you as you sort of cook. What are you making?
I have some potatoes, and I was going to take some of the herbs that we had found along the way and mash them in with the potatoes and make some mashed potato pie.
Okay, with some leftover fish and stuff?
Yeah, I'll add some fish to it for the protein.
Sounds good.
I think while Xerak's setting that up, and once we stop and Leo stops having a heart attack after that walk, like to get the alchemist supplies and see if he can't work on, I don't know, say maybe so far 2 drops of health.
I'm gonna craft Steel Bloom Salve as well.
You're going to make 2 drops of health during this one long rest?
Yeah, and so I could still get enough sleep.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an alchemist kit check on your sheet.
Right.
And this will be using your intelligence.
Okay.
Is your intelligence +1?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to label one of them as drops of healing, and then put drops of healing and one with an asterisk.
Okay.
Okay. Valeria, as you're, or Xerak, as you're sort of talking, and then sort of turn to Valeria. At the side of your eye, you see as Faye sort of reaches in with a spoon, takes a little bit of the potatoes and puts it in her mouth and kind of chews. And you watch as she reaches into her pocket and she pulls out a couple small jars. She starts taking pinches and starts sprinkling it in. One from each for taking the spoon and then stirring it all up again.
Now, wait a minute, young lady. If you're going to alter the recipe, might I take notes of what it is you're doing so that we can recreate this flavor at a later time? And have you seen the rat? I haven't seen him.
I haven't been paying attention, to be honest.
He's probably hanging out with Leomorn somewhere.
Yeah, I thought he was following him, wasn't he?
Well, Leomorn's right over there, and I don't see the rodent with him. But if you could take that into your responsibility, I need to help this. I need to take notes. I need to pay attention to what Faye is doing here. She's gonna mess up my pie.
You never know, she might make it better.
And if she does, I'd like to know exactly how. Thank you.
Just call him Chef Xerak. Who needs Gordon Ramsay when you got Xerak?
It's more my precise scientific nature that if she does change the flavor, I want to know exactly what she did. Food to Xerak is like a spell. So for the magic to come out exactly right, you have to follow the exact recipe.
I mean, herbs are great. they add aroma, but you need salt and pepper, dried garlic and onion. And then she takes her spoon, she dips it in, and she gives it to you, and it tastes a lot better. Even though it was already pretty good.
I am pretty satisfied, and I will note down what she did to my recipe, and even ask her questions about what. So it's just regular salts and pepper and just regular things.
Just peppercorns. If you don't know how to make spices, I can teach you how.
Alright, so now Zarak doesn't even care that the mouse is missing because he's enraptured by Faye's schooling him about food.
And, I mean, her brother did introduce her as a scullery maid. So, at one point you can probably imagine that she was probably working in maybe like a small noble house, actually cooking and cleaning food. So she does know a few things.
Hey,
So this is the student side of Zarak from college not too long ago, coming forward and kind of taking the lesson in stride.
And after a while, you guys do notice that Squickwick is nowhere to be seen. Leomorn, in your sort of exuberance to keep up, and sort of Rovanian's jovial mood, kind of looking at you, making the effort, you guys lost track of Squickwick.
Oh
And you
no!
don't remember where you lost track of him at.
We lost him! We only let him out for a day and now he's gone? His colony?
Not even a day. It's been a few hours.
He was right with us.
Maybe he really did get eaten by something and we just didn't know.
I'm sure we would have noticed.
Poor guy.
were you watching him, Leomorn?
He was right with me on the whole trail up.
When did you last
Or
see
like,
him?
or like Droman said, he's just been waiting for us to let him out.
Do I recall
That's what I think.
back?
No, because during that sort of entire monologue of you guys going up in the mountain, not once did you sort of say, I want to check on Squid.
Bloody hell.
Think if you call him, he'll come?
If you
Boy,
can hear
you
us.
are the worst pet owner ever. Remind me never to let you babysit my pets.
That's if you can hear us from up here.
I would not suggest calling out in the middle of the night for Squigwick. If he's gone, he's gone.
Damn it.
I don't blame him. A lot of us were being really hostile towards him when he didn't really do anything, at least for a time he was with us. Kind of glares at Zarak.
He even helped make some of your guys' healing potions.
I know.
I just wanted to show him something outside of that wretched cave he was in.
I was a little biased because the rest of his kin tried to eat us alive.
Yeah, I think he looked at us like he would like to eat us too from time to time.
And didn't we find him munching on the remains of human flesh?
You guys did find him eating a human body that was dead.
I just wanted to show him something better than that blasted cave.
If it's meant to be, you'll find them again on our way back.
Well, Leo, as I've heard many a religious person recite in the halls of theology at college, the road to damnation is paved with good intentions.
Wanted to show another downtrodden that there was far more than what he was living.
Here, try some potato pie.
Night does begin to settle in. Tristan and Wilf do volunteer to take the first watch. Though you can tell that they can't really get too far away from the fire, just kind of keep a lookout. But they'll take the first of it before waking up whoever wants to come next, and I'll just say we skate right through that. You guys wake up, unpack camp, and begin to sort of set out. Valian, are you teaching him how to make herbs, or are you actually making yourself?
So kind of showing him which ones I use whenever I sit down to make them, and show him how the process is done.
Okay, so you're showing him how to make the steel bloom.
Yeah, and then whenever I go out looking for them, I might kind of snag them along to show him.
Okay. Okay. You guys begin to sort of mount back up. Anybody want to trade with Leomorn today, or is everybody sort of content with the current situation?
No, I'm enjoying Elise's company. She can keep riding with me. Besides, I have still much to teach her.
So I'm just gonna say I'll trade with Leomorn, but I'm also once we
I
get
promise.
to the middle ground,
I
I'll
won't.
be
I'll
the friend.
spin us around in circles several times this time. I think. I'll try not to.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go in circles on this tiny trail next to a cliffside. That would be bad.
As the horse just kind of walks in place.
Well, I am willing to sit on a horse if needed.
I can trade with you, Leomorn, if you need it.
It'd be nice. Work one, rest one.
You see Tristan sort of, if you all got this covered, I'm gonna go up ahead. And you see him sort of start loping off at a pretty good pace, back up the trail, away from you guys as you guys sort of get yourselves situated. I'll say after about a half hour after Tristan leaves, you guys begin again on your 2x2, making your way up the mountain. Still climbing and wending through this very, very rough, almost slippery at some points. Like, you don't want to risk having the horses go too fast in this area. It's not like a well-maintained road. There's pieces of like sharp shale and rocks that sort of litter everything, just kind of making it pretty, even walking. Rovanian and Rudy are sort of having a hard time making sure they have to watch where they step almost the entire way, or risk like twisting their ankle on a rock that sort of comes up out of nowhere. Is moonlight ranging out ahead?
Moonlight usually flies about 60 feet ahead of us, yes.
Okay.
60 to
Go ahead
80.
and give me-
I keep
Go ahead and give me
Moonlight
a
within
perception.
range of my 100 feet, but I let him wander.
Okay. After about a couple hours of riding up, Moonlight does call back to you, and he said there's something on the road. And sort of in his owl speak, he'll say, "Stone pile."
I'll kind of whistle to our little caravan and bring us to a halt. And as Moonlight alights on my shoulder, I tell them that the owl seems to believe the road is blocked up ahead. Perhaps a pile of rocks, a rock slide, or maybe an ambush. Somebody should scout forward and check it out.
Did your owl spot Tristan up ahead as well?
He didn't spot Tristan. He just said he saw a stone pile. Small, he says to you, Zarak.
I'll kind of.
Okay.
I'll start noble, and I'm gonna go at a slow pace up ahead with Guard Shadow to take a look at this.
I can sending to see if I can find Tristan anywhere.
You can do that.
I'm gonna cast sending towards Tristan.
Okay, what do you say?
I heard there was a landslide. You see, this is Valeria, and that's it.
After a while, he said, "This is awkward.
Oh.
No landslide. I left a marker on the road. Leave the horses by it and walk up. There's something up ahead."
I almost thought I caught him, like, using the bathroom or something. Okay. He said that he left the markers there. He said that he found something up ahead. One of my spells down, because I used one of my spells.
He found something up ahead and left a marker.
Yes. He said to leave the horses there and to come, like that, just without them.
Alrighty. Let's proceed then.
You guys walk slowly up, and there in the middle of the room, you see a stack of small round stones, kind of like a decorative pile you'd see at a river. But it's more of a pyramid-like construction, and underneath the top stone is an arrow that's pointing further up the trail. Thalion, you immediately pick up on this as wealth. This is a marker for danger ahead. You watch as Wealth sort of takes the horse over by the side, gets off, and begins to secure it to a rock outhanging, but doesn't secure the rope tightly just in case the horse does need to run, it can run. And you see him take both daggers out, and he sort of walks ahead about 20 feet before looking back at all of you guys.
I follow suit and kind of motion for everyone to kind of repeat that same process.
I think Faye should probably stay behind with the horses. I don't know. She's should be.
I'll stay here with Faye. If you guys want to go ahead.
That sounds like a fine plan. I'll pull my glaive out and motion for Garshal to follow me up ahead.
Go ahead and put yourselves in a marching order.
Are we assuming we're going in a marching order, but not on the horses?
Yeah, I have to leave them behind.
The instructions were to leave the horses at the stone marker, and Welf said that he would stay with Faye, back with the horse.
Okay, well, I will pull an apple out of my saddlebag, give that to Ophelia, and tell her to behave. And
Dalian is going to eat herb and hand that same familiar herb to Valeria. It's the temporary hit point one.
Okay, go ahead and mark off the 5 gold.
I'll eat that now. What do I roll for that?
D4.
4.
And I'll give one of the drops of healing to Drummond.
Which one?
I'll give him the normal one.
Okay.
I will accept it.
You guys begin to move up the trail. You begin to bend to the right quite sharply after about 300 feet or so past the rock. Are you guys just sort of moving at a good pace? Are you guys moving stealthily? Okay, I need everybody to give me a stealth check. Those of you with disadvantage, please roll disadvantage. Dalian, you have disadvantage on your half-plate.
What is causing the disadvantage, Mark? Sorry, it broke up and I couldn't tell.
Thalion, I know that Thalion has half-plate and Valeria has heavy armor as well, so that causes disadvantage on stealth.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm just stomping up the side of the mountain.
Oh, whoops. I need to do
You got tripped up by your own robe.
Okay, so the successes definitely beat out the fails. So you guys managed to sort of make your way around the corner before you see now the trail almost goes into almost a cutting into the cliff face. Sort of you have, let me see if I can draw something crude. The mountain here. And then you have your trail that you guys are following around the bend. And sort of after the cliff face on this side, you see that there's sort of like a shelf over here that meets up. And you see what seems to be sort of like pillars that have been kind of cut and carved into the way that sort of take you through into what seems to be a mountain valley as you guys begin to move up. You guys kind of get the idea of my crappy drawing?
So it's like walking
Yeah.
into like a, as you said, a mountain valley.
Yeah, so it's an upper part of this mountain valley as you guys begin to move your way through. As you look through this vista, you see that there are more cliffs further up. As you guys kind of make your way in. And it's sort of a very shallow trail that now begins to cut in through this very sharp valley. No more like big cliff off. You see that you're actually running down the middle of, somehow through time, this was either worn in or cut in by something up here. But it's turning in, and then here you see kind of next to the rock is, I'll just move him, is Tristan. Kind of like standing, looking, and he sees you guys coming, and he puts his fingers to his mouth, and he beckons you all forward.
As we kind of come close forward slowly, I kind of want to look back to Zarek. Can you get a view of those cliffs from up high, in case there's something trying to ambush travelers?
I will tickle Moonlight on his belly and ask him to fly up there and take a gander. And close my eyes.
You let Moonlight go, and you move forward, and the thing that immediately begins to sort of tickle all of your senses is cutting in through the very crisp, clean air is the scent of wood smoke. You sort of look around and you can't see anything, like no tall, like smoke signal, like stacks, no wisps of anything. But you can definitely pick up the scent. Moonlight takes off, flies up over. Give me a perception check. Okay. You guys begin to slowly make your way, being as quiet as you can, and you're watching as Tristan is sort of giving furtive looks around the corner up the road, sort of looking around. And you can see that he's sort of taking his time trying to get a view, almost like he's trying to find something. You guys make it up to him just as Moonlight begins to circle back. He's like, I heard gruff voices, and you can smell the campfire. I thought it'd be better just to wait.
It's a good idea. Wouldn't want you getting in over your head.
And there you hear it, and it kind of echoes a little bit in this valley. But it doesn't go very far. You hear a large snapping sound. Moonlight comes back, lands on your arm, and he sort of nibbles at your ear lightly as he begins to speak to you, Zirak. Big things. Cooking.
Cooking. I turn around and say it might be time to learn a new recipe. But be cautious, just the same.
How do we know these things won't try to eat us?
Did you relay?
We don't,
what
that's-
Moonlight told you?
That's why I said to be cautious, because we don't know.
Then you hear two different laughters now that are kind of booming and deep. There's like a baritone depth to the voice. It's just this big, throaty.
It's like one of the orcs.
He said big. Did he say how big and how many to you, Zarek?
Could be ogres, trolls, anything.
3, Zirak. 3. Strange. 2 head.
Would I be able, since I came from a woods where dryads live, know what these creatures might be?
Give me a nature check.
Okay.
Still uses your intelligence.
Yeah, I'm basing this on maybe lore or something I've read.
Definitely.
Wow.
You've
that's-
definitely heard of creatures with 2 heads. You've heard of wyverns that fly with 2 heads, though you've never heard one sort of speak. I mean, you did fight abominations down in the Barrowlands with long, like sword-like fingers and weird whispers. There is something else in your mind that it's on the tip of your tongue, but it's just not coming to mind as another sort of large cracking, snapping sound sort of echoes through the valley.
I am having a tough time recalling what these woodland creatures might be, but everything that's coming to mind is dangerous at the least, if unprepared. So perhaps we should just make sure they don't see us. Maybe we can go around them.
That's not gonna work if we're gonna have to go back for the horses and everything. We're gonna have to ambush these things.
Well, they're not doing anything wrong. We're in their house, right?
Valiant kind of looks at you pretty sternly, like, we're about to pass through this valley. If they spot us, they're probably going to eat us, and we're not going forward without the horses and the other hirelings, so they will most certainly see us when we go back for them. We might as well take care of them ahead of time.
Well,
I don't feel that we
if you see no other option, I'm not against slaying woodland creatures, I suppose, but that are just in our way and that might eat us. Indeed. But maybe they're intelligent enough to listen to reason and leave us alone.
Yeah, we don't want to start a battle and waste our energy on something that we really don't need to.
Would you like to see if you can persuade them to let us pass?
I would trust that to those who are a little bit more polite than I am. Perhaps our bard should speak for us. I'm sure Elise's charm could make anyone do whatever she wants.
I know nothing about woodland creatures, though. Or nature, for that matter, honestly.
You guys hear another booming chorus of laughs. Definitely more than a couple people. Each one just as throaty and each one just as deep.
Maybe you could use moonlight
I mean, they
again.
sound pretty jovial right now. It doesn't seem like they're being hostile to anything or about anything. I think.
Maybe you could send moonlight out there again, get a better view of what it is.
Well, moonlight translates things a little hazy anyway. Drummond, might you be able to sneak forward and have a look-see?
I could definitely try and take a look.
Yeah, I say we just let you sneak ahead, take a look, and see if there is a way around, or if we should just. I mean, what maybe? Obviously, if they're tearing apart human bodies and eating them, cooking them over a fire, then I'm feeling more justified in ambushing them. But if they're just eating, what we would eat, then maybe we should try to talk to them.
Well, best find out the numbers first, though, right?
Yeah, see if we can maybe sneak around or avoid them somehow.
If you get in over your head, Droman, just give a whistle.
Did Welf stay back with my sister?
He did.
I'm a little out of my depth here. Would you mind if I sort of
Yes,
retreated
please.
a bit?
Go ahead.
And Tristan will retreat. Drummond, if you're gonna sneak ahead, go ahead and give me another stealth check.
Oh, I love that fire effect. I really do.
Okay. You walk up, and there you hear, the closer you get, this sort of roaring fire that's crackling. Again, you hear another large snapping sound. And you watch as a very strange creature with two heads throws what seems to be the trunk of a tree that's been broken in half onto the pile of fire. You see another one of these strange two-headed creatures sort of pulling off the hide of an elk with one hand, just sort of the same way you'd see somebody sort of skin a rabbit. He just grabs one side of the part of the neck and just whack, pulls it off and just jams this long log into it. They've got long, dreadlocked beards. And you can see that each head on each one is tattooed differently. The right head on each one, all tattoo different markings, but done in a very deep, berry-like red color. While each of the left heads all have this sort of blue, ritualistic tattooing as you sort of make your way up. Two of the heads looking at each other and kind of speaking directly to one another. The one off to the side looking at the other one and speaking, the other one's just sort of laughing. It's this weird sort of creepy sensation as you kind of watch this, like looking at a car wreck. These things are utterly hideous. They are massive.
Let's see, so they're eating elk, hideous creatures, 2 heads, 3 creatures. Cool.
Can he make out anything that they might be saying, Mark, or are they speaking a language he wouldn't understand?
You hear this it's a strange guttural sound. If an avalanche, like if somebody could make an avalanche sound and call it a language, that is what you're hearing. It's almost like this very gravelly sound of stones being ground together. It's very deep, it's very harsh. This as you kind of get up there. You have no idea what this language is, I believe.
No, I speak Common, Infernal, and Thieves' Cant. Do I see any visible weapons? Swords, axes?
You see what seem to be very crude looking battle axes, the size of boat paddles. You see these mangled stone maces with what looks like iron spikes driven into the heads. You see that some of these creatures have these gnarled root staffs next to them.
I think I'll head back to the party and start to brief them on our situation.
You start to turn around just as another raucous chorus of laughter just sort of takes over again and just begins to fill the side of this mountain.
Well, the good news, they're not eating humans.
Well, they seem to be having a good time.
Yes, so to brief you, there's 3 creatures. Each one has 2 heads, and they are clearly armed. Whether they're hostile or not, I did not want to see.
How big did you make them out to be?
Pretty big. Would I say
Like
10
this-
feet?
You'd say each of these creatures was maybe 12 feet tall and maybe 7 feet wide at the shoulders.
Oh.
Their arms are probably 2 Leomorns on each shoulder.
They fight with tree trunks as clubs, so yeah, they're pretty beefy dudes. Well, did it appear like there might be a way to get past them without us being noticed? Were they saying anything?
Let's see, and I quote, "Rah, rah," or something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
It's pretty good. Spot on.
Perhaps I could get close enough to to understand what they're saying, but I would need to step aside and take some time to cast a ritual in order to do so.
Valeria, as you sort of ask that, I mean, you do realize that now, wow, that stone marker at the base of the mountain makes a lot more sense. It was a big, gigantic obelisk-like stones carved with these very harsh, very large, gouged-out runes that nobody in the group knew how to read at the time. It would make sense that maybe that was written in Giant, and maybe they are speaking in Giant.
Interesting. I was unaware of giants in the Barrowlands.
Well, it is safe to assume they do live in mountains, but really, out here in this dreaded wasteland?
Mark, I will step aside from the group a bit and start preparing to cast my...
Okay.
Drawing runic symbols around me and saying words of magic in order to enhance my comprehension.
10 minutes pass. You take a deep breath as you are now able to listen and get a better understanding of what they're saying. Though at this distance, all you can hear right now is just a sort of raucous laughing that seems to exclamate each end of every sentence. You'll have to move forward.
I am going to close my eyes and block out all sound from myself and send Moonlight to perch on a tree nearby and listen through Moonlight's...
Moonlight lands, ruffles feathers, and you can kind of hear this. Matching the laughter, these sort of bellow-like lungs letting loose these somewhat sophisticated words, which is so much different than what Droman was describing. When do you think Gorlak will get back with that ale? Hopefully soon. I don't like my meat overdone. And you watch as he sort of lifts up this spike, and you can see what seems to be a humanoid-like creature on the end of this large stick that he had over the fire. And he begins to sort of eat and chew on it, while the other one starts to cook this large elk. Ain't too many people running round here lately. Yeah. I missed it when all the dwarves were up. Now it's just their little parties coming in and out. Good sport, them dwarves. Tough. Good to eat. Must be the hair, one says. Smells so good when you cook.
Zarak will chuckle just a little bit at the humor that the Ettins are saying, because it's kind of funny to talk about what dwarves might taste like. But then I open my ears and eyes to the world around me and kind of summon Moonlight back to me. And I say, well, Dromund, it appears that you only saw one side of their cooking spit. They are indeed attacking dwarf travelers and cooking them over their fire right now. It appears to me that these creatures are acting as if they are bandits on this road and waylaying anything that might pass by and laughing about the sport of it.
You hear another "Rah, ha, ha, ha," kind of echo through the.
As you can see, they're enjoying the sport very much, and the spoils as well.
What you could immediately gather is that they did not have a care in the world. Like, they were just sitting down like you guys would after a long day at the Crown and Rose and just bullshit and laugh and eat and I guess getting ready to drink.
It's too bad we don't have a really large rodent that we could offer them as a food to allow us to pass. But
If these are giant bandits eating dwarves, then I suggest to help the dwarves that are coming from that where we're heading anyways, and to protect ourselves, we should ambush them ahead of time and end any ambushes on any others in the future.
I agree. If we get the drop on them, no matter their size, which is formidable indeed, we could possibly overcome them before they even know that what's happened. They didn't sound all that, or they don't seem all that bright. They actually sounded kind of intelligent.
You hear this whoosh, 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 whoosh. And you hear this sort of startled hooting, and you guys look as Moonlight is sort of taking up into the air.
I do believe they know Moonlight's aware of them.
Well, Moonlight's just an owl, but yeah, they probably thought it would be funny to throw a stick at the tree. Moonlight will fly back a bit.
I don't think that was a stick.
Oh, I got the impression they threw something like a branch at the tree or something. I don't know.
Oh, you could definitely hear the whooshing and the crashing sound. It was quite loud.
So, are we able to? I know Valeria is kind of against this plan of sneaking up on them. She thinks that we are facing something we can't overcome, but I believe that we can. Is there any possibility? Is this like an elevated area? Could we sneak up onto this hillside and?
That is one of the sheer cliffs that kind of went up, where this roadway has been kind of carved into the stone leading into this valley. Where you can see where it was sort of widened, and you can see the tool marks that are still evident from this construction that took place long ago. You can't see through there, as you had to make your way sort of along the cliff wall towards this opening. And where Droman got to about here, he could see that there is an elevated precipice that they sort of set their camp and their fire on, kind of in another alcove in this cliff wall. Let me put some.
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to use the terrain to our advantage and hope we hope they react slowly to attacks and danger. They don't seem to be suspecting it.
This little cliff face, from what Drummond and Moonlight was able to see, is probably about 25 feet up. And here, this little stairway was only about 15 feet, kind of like a little trail that wends up to this large, flat area that was sort of littered in what looked like tan hides and fur. It doesn't look like they've been here for very long, and you sort of look around at kind of the destruction in the small valley, and most of the small trees here have either been uprooted, torn out, or just cut in half. Not even very well. You can see like part of the trees maybe was just cut halfway up, leaving like almost an entire stalk of a stump that could still be utilized. It just looks like they didn't really care.
To your point, Valeria, we could probably take this trail up here to the right and see if it leads us out of their sight, but we'd have to jump down to the road on the far side, and I have no idea how we might fare in that endeavor.
Do not forget, we still have others to go back for in horses.
Yeah, we might want to make sure the path is safe. All right, I'm with you, Thalion. I've got your back. Let's jump them.
I would suggest we all sneak up together, attack at the same time on the count of 3, and focus fire on 1, and then draw them into an area where we can keep them from surrounding us.
I'm not in this either, but there's no other choice, and I guess we must do what we must do. And I'll just cast Mage Armor as well. Just I have full confidence, Mage Armor.
Okay. Rovanian takes out his sword, sort of grabs it in two hands, and kind of looks down at the blade, appraising it, looks to you all and nods his head.
Right, so I will lead the sneaking up to that corner.
Who's all sneaking up? I need stealth checks.
I will.
I will hang back while I'm casting my mage armor and allow Valeria to bless me if she so chooses. While others that are a little bit more stealthy can sneak ahead. I don't mind waiting around to get in on this, but
You and me both. I'm right with you with the Mage Armor.
Who have you blessed, Valeria? Okay. Rovanian's going to begin to sneak forward.
lion? What lion? I hear nor see a lion anywhere in this picture.
I do believe I saw a field mouse.
As Rovanian is slowly moving, and he's looking up, you hear as he steps on a stick and he looks down. Dalian, you immediately sort of looking, jump out of the way as he sort of backs up a bit, and you move and you sort of send some rocks. Zirak, you hear, whoa. Did you hear that? I heard nothing. They all begin to laugh again. Just a bunch of idiots.
Okay, I'll proceed forward, letting Garshell take the lead since he's like a ghost.
Just as Valeria begins to make her way up, she turns around and gives one sort of last nod to Elise, more to kind of affirm to herself, like, okay. And as she turns around, Valeria, your left shoulder pauldron clangs and scrapes against the side of the hill as you weren't really watching where the stone phase was, and you sort of make this high-pitched screeching noise. And the laughter sort of stops.
How are you guys?
At that point, I'll kind of tell Garshadow to kind of hide behind this bush and kind of tell everyone to get ready. They're probably coming. And with my free hand, I grab my hand axe to throw if someone comes calmly out.
You guys hear this sort of rustling noise and this sort of this as heavy footfalls begin to sort of mesh in with the gravel in the ground, creating sort of this thumping, scraping noise. As one of the creatures begins to sort of move down. Obviously, he's not prone anymore.
And once he's within sight, I chuck that hand axe.
Okay, we're going to roll initiative.
All Alright, just get the one out of the way. Get the one out of the way.
All my initiative rolls are pretty bad. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus 2 pets.
Someone at the door?
Top of round 1, Drummond. You're watching as Stallion sort of tenses in front of you, and as soon as this thing gets to the corner, you see him sort of pick up his axe to go, and you have really quick instincts, especially with the speed of this, the wings behind you.
So I'm gonna fly over there.
And you
And
fly
I-
up to this hulking creature, and you see in one hand he has a mace, the other hand one of the large battle axes that you saw.
And I think I'm gonna cast Darkness.
Okay. 15-foot radius.
Gonna try and keep the other ones in the dark while we deal with this.
Foot radius is a, what is that? 3 by 3?
It's a
or-
6 by 6 because it's a 15-foot radius, so it's a 30-foot diameter. So it would be a 6 by 6 circle or box, either way you want to draw it. Yep, that is correct.
I didn't realize darkness took up that much space.
Did you want to fully engulf one, or kind of half engulf both?
I'm trying to block the two in the back. So if I can get... And we'll fully engulf red.
We'll put him there, and he's fully engulfed as he's back against the cliff face. You sort of watch as Blue Dot is sort of confused as this dark roiling cloud just sort of appears directly in front of him.
And then I'm going to disengage, because I don't know if this guy's got reach, and I'm going to fly towards Moonlight, trying to get him to...
Okay. And he sort of bellows down and sort of lowers his back as both heads just sort of begin roaring at you.
And I'm just buzzing around his face like a fly.
Valeria.
So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Extagar Shadow. And she is going to cast Guiding Bolt.
Okay. Sadly, the 8 misses as you sort of run around the corner, slip on some gravel a little bit, and kind of lose your balance. And as you throw out your mace and shoot the guiding bolt from it, you see as it sort of rockets right by, and you see him sort of turn his shoulder to get out of the way as it hits the wall and just cascades in these white luminous sparks. You can actually see the scorch mark it makes along the stone cliff. And then now one head is looking at Drummond, and the other head turns and looks over to you. Anything else? You gonna stay there? Okay. This Etten is going to jump down to 25 feet. $13, which is good enough. And you see him sort of land, boom, and you see in one hand he's got this large stone mace, and the one on the left shoulder is holding one of the gnarled wooden staffs as it looks around. So that's 25 feet. It's going to move to here. Drummond, the large stone mace is going to come at you. Missing with an 8 as it hits the ground, causes this huge crater. And you see him now having trouble trying to pull this in as the one with the blue face paint sort of points his staff, looks at you, and you watch as a ball of fire begins to glow and then shoot out towards you. For a 21,
That's gonna hit.
you take 6 points of fire damage as the firebolt comes, but you're resistant, so you only take 3.
I'm gonna Hellish Rebuke him because I can.
Okay. And that's is that a 30-foot away? Oh, it's just the one creature.
It's actually up to 60 feet away, but yeah, one creature.
I thought it might be able to get multiple. Okay, he's going to try and dex a 11. I think he fails. Oh, he just makes it, so he'll take half. Okay, so he'll take 4 points of fire damage.
You burn me, I burn you.
And I'm going to give this guy the wrench because he's still bent over trying to pick up his mace that's stuck in the ground. An attack on him has advantage. Rudy.
He's going to move up. Can I see red?
You cannot see red. Red is in a cloud of darkness.
I am going to cast Bane on green and blue then.
Okay, these wisdom save. Charisma save. These guys aren't very charismatic. Okay, so this is green. Fails, and this is blue. 10 fails, correct?
They both fail.
Okay, so both of them are Bane. I'll give him the one with the bleeding eye. Okay.
I'm good.
Alright, you retreat a little bit further back. Get your sword ready to go. Garshadow.
Dalian kind of points towards the one with the staff. Stop the caster! And Garshadow is going to charge and pounce him.
Okay, so the crit does hit. Here comes the strength save. 23. So he gets his forearm up in time as Garshadow just clamps right onto it and just tries to rip him to the ground, but he sort of flexes his forearm muscles to the point where it opens up and kind of distends Garshadow's jaw a little bit before he has to sort of let go and back up a little bit.
He finishes his movement going off to the side there.
Okay, so 1d4 plus 6. So let's see. So 14. Is that 14 total?
Oh, I just realized I didn't adjust his crit damage like I did Valiant. Sorry.
That +4 at the end mark looks like it, or plus D4 looks like that's the crit roll, so that should just be an 8 plus 4.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Okay. Okay, he's gonna stay there.
Yes.
Moonlight.
Alright, Moonlight is going to fly and kind of flap his wings on Blue Dot here and fly away, giving the next attack advantage against Blue.
Okay, flying around Blue again, and he's sort of just getting harried around all sorts of sides now, and he's not having a good time. Now we'll give him the wrench back. Next attack on Blue has advantage. Oh. Hold on. Okay, 22. I gotta remember to keep that up for Bane. And then Bane is attacks and saves.
Yes, just like Bless, D4 instead of a plus.
Okay, I will remember that. Okay, he's gonna panic stand. And he's gonna roll a D4. Oh no. He starts walking up this way before he hits the cliff face, and you guys just hear the sort of Zerak. You're a little. I think you're close enough to get the last bits of this muffled. What the hell? Where am I?
Excellent. Somebody turn the stars out, or the sun off. Somebody turn the sun off.
Rovanian is going to rage and sort of drop down in a very feline, sort of. Can't think of the word. With lithe movement and just sort of weaving in and out. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and he's going to make 2 reckless attacks at this end. $19 hitting, doing a total of 21 points. Then here comes his second attack. 20, doing an additional 14. And you're watching as Green Dot is sort of trying to get away from this crazy little human that is coming up and just carrying him into asshole. I'm going to put this marker on Rovanian. That he is raging and attacking recklessly. That is the end of Rovanian's turn. This Etten is going to attack Rovanian twice with advantage. He's going to come down with his huge battle axe, hitting him with a 23, doing 11 points of slashing damage. And you watch as the battle axe sort of sinks into Rovanian's shoulder a little bit, as all of Rovanian's muscles sort of tense, and the corded muscle underneath sort of swells, stopping the momentum of the blade. Not doing as much damage as I was hoping, as the other left head now is bringing in the club with a sweeping hook. Hitting with a 24 for 17, so that is 28 to half to 14. That is the end of that Etten's turn. Elise, it is your turn. The battle now is in full swing. You've watched as your compatriots sort of charged in. and the sounds of metal clashing and the smell of blood is definitely starting to get thick in the air.
Alright. First things first. I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And on green, I'm going to attempt to cast Crown of Madness on him.
Okay.
So, wisdom save.
Okay, what does the effect on this do?
He has Bane on him.
Yeah, but he has 2 heads, which gives him advantage against certain things. 2 heads equal 2 brains, no matter how small. Okay, so this is a charmed effect, so he has advantage on this. As Ettins have advantage on Wisdom Perception, which ups their passive perception to 19.
Okay.
And on saving throws against being blinded, charmed, deaf, and frightened, stunned, and knocked unconscious. Okay, so this is a Charisma saving throw. Wisdom saving throw with advantage. 17.
16.
And you watch as you sort of cast it at the redhead, and he sort of starts to blink his eyes, and his eyes go glassy just as one of the left hands, like, drops the axe real quick and just slaps the living shit out of the guy, and he sort of shakes his head awake and kind of comes back into consciousness.
Almost.
I think that's about my turn.
Elise, what's your DC?
A DC saving throw? Or 14. So yeah, he definitely succeeded.
I keep forgetting about Bane. Give me a second. I'm making a post-it note and putting it on my computer screen.
Yeah, technically he rolled a 14, which it matches your spell save DC. So
Yeah, so
he still succeeded, but only just barely.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a large post-it note that says Bane on my screen, so over. Jesus. Okay, so he's able to just shake off the effects at the last.
Droman, Zarak is much smarter than me. I'm just saying, my math is bad. Zarak is fine. As a matter of
Zarak's
fact,
perfect.
Zarak
Elise, are you
says
gonna stay
to
there?
Elise. Oh, I'll wait till
No, not
you.
me. I didn't do it.
Okay, now it is Xerax.
Is this a trail that goes up the side of this mountain here?
It is almost like a goat/footpath that's kind of been worn into the mountainside. It's somewhat steep, but you can definitely make it.
So it's basically my intention to go up on this path and get I'm assuming like kind of a bird's eye view of the battle a bit. So I would like to move my movement speed to there. Is that doable?
That's definitely doable.
Okay, so I'm basically and I'm assuming that this doesn't block my line of sight or anything. I'm above everything. Just slightly
You
even.
You still can't see this guy, even if the darkness wasn't there. That cliffside would prevent you from really seeing him. But you can definitely see the entire battlefield.
Okay, so I look to Elise as I walk by, kind of motion to her and say, "Looks like that spell needs a bit more practice. Perhaps tonight I can go over it with you a couple of times." And I will point my finger at the one who casted Firebolt. Actually, I was kind of surprised by the creature's technique, and I will mimic that and cast Firebolt back at him. Does he? Is this the advantage symbol? Do I still have advantage on him?
Yes, nobody has attacked him since Moonlight did the help.
Excellent. So I'm going to take advantage of Moonlight's distraction and attack him.
27 definitely hits. Almost a crit.
That is one off of a freaking crit. Holy man, that wow. Okay,
If only
Alright,
you
well.
were a champion wizard.
right. I'll take that 13 fire damage though, as I strike him with a bolt of fire, and I will end my turn there.
Stallion.
Stallion is gonna rush up besides Droman to strike at her in front of him.
Okay.
Sorry, I realize I need to lessen my buttons.
This attack will be at normal. 21 definitely hits.
I'm gonna spin and hit him with the opposite end.
22 will definitely hit.
And Garsha will use his reaction to bite, seeing me, seeing me striking.
Okay. Ooh, again! Garshadow's doing some work. Okay, so... I thought he can only bite if he has somebody prone.
I thought that you could only use as a bonus action if it was prone. But I'll let you decide that, and then I'll switch it up if needed.
Hold on a second, let me look at your sheet.
Mark, his actions are both bite and claw, so he can do one or the other, but
Okay,
he
I
can
just thought
bite
it was-
as a
you're-
bonus. Yeah. He can do
Okay, so
either
it's
one.
gonna be 12 plus 6, so 18. This dude's getting chowed.
And then I will take a step back, kind of baiting him to step forward.
You take a step back, and he's gonna knock you in your face with his mace.
Oh, okay, so I guess I will be running my reaction ahead of time. I'm just gonna find the button for it, but I'm gonna use the reaction to disarm him when he swings at me.
Okay, this is your reaction. I didn't forget. That's an 8. And as he swings, you sort of get your glaive blade underneath his wrist and sort of cut, as his hand kind of goes limp, as you sort of cut one of the tendons, and the Morning Star falls to the ground. That's the end of your turn.
Yes.
Lamorn.
Okay. C5.
Lamorn, you have a good line on Elise, Stallion, Dromond, and Garshadow. If you want to shoot a thunder lightning bolt, you just throw.
Don't you dare.
Please don't.
I've learned. 5, 10, 15, 20.
No, I'm
25,
not lightning resistant. Only
30.
fire.
And as I'm running, I'll brush my gloved hand across the cliff face to get the spark going. Do one quick turn backhand, and I'll cast a Chaos Bolt at blue.
Okay.
See Elise kind of twitch at you like,
A 12 hits.
Yes.
They're very big targets, not very dexterous, and they're not really wearing anything.
Okay. My pages are acting funky again.
Go ahead and hit the Chaos Bolt there. Okay, so do you want it to be acid or poison?
Acid or what?
Acid or poison?
Let's give him some discomfort. Let's make it acid.
Okay, so you throw your chaos bolt, and as this warbling mass of energy sort of leaves your hand and just sort of streaks and curves around the battlefield, it hits this thing square in the chest. Just as it turns this sickly blue, silverish color that splashes liquid. And you watch as the skin begins to dissolve, as it starts to scream, and the vocal cords that it's screaming dissolve as the skin just begins to melt and the muscles slaw off the bone as it falls to the ground, dead.
Sexy.
As it had exactly 13 hit points left.
That's one down. Who's next? And yeah, that's all I'll be able to do.
Top of round. Zirak, after taking in what just happened, you look as you see what seems to be something flying through the air. Something large. You look up and you see what seems to be a very large barrel of something hurling through the air. I need Rovanian, Valeria, and Thalion. Nope, just Rovanian and Valeria to give me dexterity saving throw. Rovanian has advantage on this. Okay, he passes. He will take half damage. You look just in time, Valeria, as this large keg of ale crashes into the ground, sending out shrapnel and liquid that sort of pelt you. 9 points of bludgeoning damage. Rovanian's going to take 4. It is greeted by a roar, Zirak. And you look over to the far side and you see another one of the Ettins, another keg of ale held in its left arm as it begins running down the hillside after throwing one. And now you know that Gorlak is back with the ale. 15, 20, 25.
Looks like Gorlak just wasted it.
That's the end of his turn. Drummond.
I'm gonna fly over there, pull out my rapier, strike my mosquito, and then strike.
Okay, 20 definitely hits. 5 is 21. Wow.
Cunning action, disengage.
You get him
Yeah, we'll go
right
there.
underneath. You get him right underneath his giant Etten boob, and just sort of wobble up and then pull it back as like blood starts to spurt out and kind of splash all over his big old fat belly and his loincloth. Where
That will
this
be my turn.
is now a muddy slough, so trying to get through this area requires a dexterity save. Just be aware. But you don't know that, you just see that it's muddy. Valeria, it's your turn.
She's gonna go 5, 10, 15. 5 right there. And she's gonna hit with her mace. It's Ariana's Rose.
23 definitely hits. Oh, that's your spiritual weapon.
Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead and roll Ariana's Rose and then hit the damage on.
I don't know why I thought that was it. I have too many spells on this list.
There you go. Go ahead and press damage.
Okay. And could I use one of the charges for that?
You absolutely can.
Let me see if I wrote it down. I haven't used this for like a really long time.
You should have the handout in your handout section in your items.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh.
So you can use one charge. You have 2 charges per day. You can expend 1 charge, dealing an additional 2d6 piercing damage as thorns sprout out from the area that you struck with the mace.
2d6 then. Roll.
An additional 9.
I guess that's the bonus action. I call out my spiritual weapon.
Okay. Like a comet streaking from the sky, the blue Pegasus comes down in a dive before flipping and trying to kick both heads of each.
My-
14 hits. This guy is in really bad shape. You guys can see the health.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's not doing very good. Literally just wrecked his world. Is that the end of your turn, Valyria?
She's a little bit bloodthirsty right now.
Poor guy. Yeah, this dude's almost done for. One of its heads is actually unconscious. The other one's barely holding on.
I just
Rudy.
feel sorry for this guy now.
Going for the kill.
Okay. $23 definitely hits. How does Rudy kill this guy?
I think she leaps and she does this spin and she lops off both heads at once.
Very nice. So, like, using its backwards momentum after Valyria is just destroying it, you see one of its legs sort of bend down as it's trying to hold on to its weight as one side of its body is completely limp. And the blue head's doing everything it can to sort of keep the body up. You run, you jump off of the knee into the air, doing another Rudy spinning attack, and both the sword cleaves cleanly through and you land, and as you flick the blood off, both heads just sort of roll off and it falls backwards onto the stair dead. Do you stay there?
Of course, I got opposed.
Garsha.
Dalian kind of calls out to Garsha though to kind of step back and ready a pounce. Well, he's actually going to tell him to go right over here and ready an attack when that creature emerges.
Okay.
So Garshow's pretty much just pounced right there.
Okay, so he's going to have to ready an action to either move or attack. So you can't ready an action to pounce because he still needs to move
I meant crouch.
20 or so feet. Oh, crouched. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just said the wrong thing. He's crouched right
So-
there, waiting for something.
And he's going to get ready to bite.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Moonlight.
Moonlight will fly over and perch on Zerak's shoulder.
Okay. This poor Etten. He's still feeling forward, and he's touching the wall, screaming inside the darkness as he cannot see a thing. Rovanian looks and sees the one, and he's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and he sort of bellows a challenge as he brings his silver greatsword in front of him, and he's going to prepare an action to attack yet. Gets closer. He is dead. Elise. You look up and you see this guy up here, and still hear this very loud guttural screaming coming from inside this blackened cloud.
Well, she doesn't feel like going blindly inside of a blackened cloud, so she's gonna have to head over here. 5, 10, 30. Yeah, I'm gonna double move then. 40, 45, 50. Yeah, I think that's about as far as I can go right now. Whippity yip.
Okay, so you just double move.
Yep. That's about it. She doesn't have sight of the guy yet, so.
Okay. Zerak, it is your.
Alright, Zerak will continue up this trail. To there. Hopefully I'm gaining a little bit more elevation, getting a nice bird's eye view of everything. Can I see this guy from here?
You can definitely see him from there.
Alright, I think he's less than 120 feet away, which is the range of Firebolt, so I will Firebolt him.
He is definitely less than 120 feet.
Sorry, that's a 21. I forgot to turn off advantage. Unless you want me to roll again.
21 is definitely going to hit him.
A little less damage, but 10 fire. And I will end my turn there.
Okay. Thalion.
Thalion is going to charge for the behind Rovanian, and I'll ready my action. And this walks up. Because I don't have clear sight of them because of this piece here, right?
I mean, you can definitely see him, but he's so big, he's only got like half cover from that.
It would be a disadvantage. I'm going to try and throw that hand that's at disadvantage at them.
Okay. So you stick your glaive in the ground, pull out a hand axe, and huck it.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Even with the half cover, it hits. Okay, at the end of your turn.
And just to make sure I'm clear whenever I do this again, is it a free action to grab the glaive again since I just threw the weapon? Or
Well, because you had to free action drop it, and then you had to use an object action to pull out your hand axe to make your attack action. So you don't have your glaive in your hand at the moment.
just
It's
making
in the
sure I
ground
might
right
have
next
to
to you.
do it on my next turn or not.
Yep, you'll have to use your object action to take it up, spin it around, and get ready to attack again.
Okay.
And that actually worked out perfectly for me. Layamore.
Okay. Okay, I know for a fact that I cannot see that end up there. So
Yeah, it's just this large mound here. It's just sort of in the way, and you're not able to kind of see over it, but you can definitely see where Rovanian ran up, and then where Thalion sort of hucked his hand axe, so.
okay, so just let out a little sigh. It's like still kill me from yesterday. And 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and that's probably all that I'm going to do for.
Okay. Top of round 3. The Etin, known as Gorlak, sort of pulls the hand axe, throws it to the ground, holds a hand out towards you, Thalion. He is going to cast. Earthen Grasp, so I need a strength saving throw. As this large stone hand, like a tidal wave, erupts in front of you. Why do you have disadvantage?
I forgot to unclick it.
Okay. I guess I should have posted it as a spell. Hold
You want me to re-roll?
on. No, we'll take the 20. No worries.
Oh, I still take half damage.
Yep. So you'll take 4. I'm just turning on the spell descriptions here.
So you knocked out some of my temporary.
Okay, and I'm not going to bother with a token, so I'm just going to make a colored box. In red, the hand is here, and Gorlak is going to run up 5, 10, 15, 20, and he's going to make 2 attacks at Rovanian. Rovanian didn't. He didn't attack recklessly, so there's no. 2 normal attacks. Battle Axe, missing with a 9. Morningstar, missing with an 11. Drummond.
Come buzzing up, and I'm gonna make my sword attack.
Okay. $18 hit. You guys cannot miss today.
Paying the action, disengage.
Okay. Valeria.
my niece. I'm going to, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Let's see. How far away is this? 20 feet?
Yep, you can definitely see him.
Sacred Flame.
Okay. A 14 with his -1 dexterity modifier. Does that save? Or just miss?
14 is my save.
Oh, okay.
I'll move,
I don't know how you rolled a 15 on that, but I'll take
5, 10. Right there. Okay.
Okay. That's the end of your turn?
Yes.
Rudy.
So I believe Rudy knows that there's another Etten up here somewhere.
You can definitely hear him.
So she's going to cover this rear since all the fighters dashed off after this other guy, leaving poor Leomorn by himself. Rudy is going to basically do that ninja, close her eyes and listen. She's going to see without seeing, and she's going to get into her true strike stance against this
Okay.
guy.
Sounds good. So you cast True Strike on yourself, giving you advantage on your next attack.
Yes.
Gar Shadow.
I just call out for Garsho to sick him. He's not going to be able to pounce since it's a curving corner and not a straight shot. So he's just going to bite him.
Okay.
He's going right for the ankle to try and throw him off balance.
Sounds good. $21 definitely hits. Make sure to untoggle the advantage.
I just did.
Doing 9 piercing. That's the end of his turn.
Yep.
Moonride.
Moonlight will take the dodge action on my shoulder.
Okay. Nisetin uses this round again to move 5 feet, hit the wall, and then he's going to turn around. He's going to go 10, 20, 30, finally emerging from the darkness. You see this one has a staff and a battle axe. And it sees Rudy. It's going to go down here and it's going to make 2 attacks at Rudy. $24.
Yep.
The battle axe comes in and does 15 points of slashing. And it is stupid, so it is going to try to firebolt you at disadvantage. It's just going to try to touch you with a staff and hit you with a fire. 13, does a 13 hit you?
No, it does not.
Okay, that's the end of that Etten's turn. I'm an idiot. It didn't even need to go within 5 feet. Has reach. Never mind. Never mind. That's the end of his turn. It is Rovanian. He's going to try to cut into Gorlak twice. He's going to recklessly attack. First attack, 20, doing 15. 23, doing an additional 8, so that is 23. That is the end of Rovanian's turn. Any attacks against him by the Etten have advantage. Elise. You're watching your comrades fight this large Etten. As you sort of looking around and you see that Rudy is kind of beset by one herself.
All right. Since that one looks a bit squeezed up there, I'm gonna try and help Rudy. If I can get there. 10, 15, 25, 30, and let's see. I am going to Vicious Mockery the thing in front of Rudy. Etten.
Okay. The Etten will attempt a normal
I'm
wisdom
going to
saving throw.
attempt since I think it has.
Is this a wisdom save?
I think it's a. Hold on.
Okay, wisdom
Yeah.
save.
Yep.
He rolls an 18, natural 18. So he does. One of the heads really doesn't care for your joke, while the other one looks kind of taken aback, but it has no effect on the poor creature, as both brains were not hit at the same.
I tried. Sorry.
Don't try to tie puns into your insults.
Everybody's a critic.
Are you going to use your bonus action for anything, Elise?
Yeah, I'm going to cast Healing Word on Rudy, because she
Okay,
looks a
sounds
little
good.
beat up.
Go ahead and cast your healing word.
All right, I'm going to continue up this little goat trail because I'm liking it. So that's 30 feet of movement, walking along the trail there. I at least have line of sight to orange dot still, so I am going to shoot a firebolt, but I'm going to also command Moonlight to grow a set and fly out there on his next turn.
Okay. 27. Oh, you're so close, Ken.
Gosh dang, man.
You're so close.
It's like it's teasing me, Mark. It's teasing me. That's what it's doing.
So close. Go ahead and roll your damage. Oh, no!
The damage is just getting lower and lower every time,
no.
too. That's funny. That's all right. I'm safe. I'm far, far away from danger.
That would have
I'll
been at
just
least a
pepper him.
25.
Yeah, it should have been.
Thalion.
I'm just gonna reach down to grab the glaive. Despite this earthy hand by him, he's gonna step up and stab at the Etten to give Rovanian some help.
Okay. You're going to step up in front of the spiritual weapon.
Yes.
Easy enough. Go ahead and make your attacks. 20 will hit.
And then opposite end.
13 will miss.
Oh man, so he's a little different. But Garshadow's gonna bite at him.
Okay. 18 will hit. Taking out chunks. He's starting to bleed profusely all over his belly and like his lower thighs and legs where you guys are sort of attacking at him.
And
Is that the end of your turn?
Yep, I'll hold my ground behind
Okay.
Rovanian.
Leomorn, you're watching the rush of people sort of meet the larger, sort of commanding Etten at the top, and then you look to the left as one of them finally bursts free from the darkness, sets its eye on Rudy, and start attacking her as Elise flies over to try to lend some aid.
Oh, bloody hell, I forgot about that one. He'll hold his ground, but he'll clasp his hands together, brings one up into the sky, the other one out forward, and casts Witch Bolt at it.
Okay. 24 definitely hits.
Yeah, why not? Whew.
Man, you guys are rolling some good damage. Okay, that's the end of your turn.
Yep, and I'm just gonna maintain the spell.
Let me read something really quick. Okay, top of round 3. You hear the large Etten sort of bellow out in front of you guys down there. Istak Tulasni! Zirak, you hear echoing through the valley. You dare attack the blood of Titans! As he pulls off the staff, takes it, slams it into the ground in front of him, as the earth around you begins to churn and it explodes upwards. As he is casting Erupting Earth. I need Valeria, Dromond, Thalion, Rovanian, and Garshadow to give me Dexterity saving throw.
I'm going to burn my inspiration I just got.
Okay, go ahead and roll again if you want. Rovanian has advantage.
I guess.
Okay, Rovanian rolls a 21, so Rovanian's going to take half damage. Can you roll for Garshadow? Garshadow saves. You guys managed to dodge the earth spikes that are coming up from the ground. Valeria, one just nails you right in the breastplate of your armor and kind of lifts you up off the ground, and you fall in a heap. You take 18 points of bludgeoning. Everybody else will take 9. Rovanian will take... Drummond, do you have evasion yet, or is that level 7?
No evasion yet.
Okay. Let's see. Each creature, 3d12 or half as much. Additionally, the ground. So everybody in here now, you're sort of trapped in this craggy, difficult terrain.
Almost all of us.
That should be good. That's going to be his action spell, and here comes his 2 attacks. One at Rovanian, one at... Actually, he's going to throw one at Thalion, one at Rovanian.
I'm going to try and reaction disarm the one that he's aiming at me.
Okay. the Morning Star. Ooh, just get him. And he can't even make his second attack as it flies off. But what he is going to do is he's going to punch with his disarmed hand at Rovanian. And let's see, it's just going to be a regular Morningstar attacks. Missing Rovanian with a 14 as the punch goes wide. Okay, I think that's the end of his turn. Dromond.
So I'm going to be flying over Garshatter to make my attack, and then I'm going to disengage and go back to my...
22 definitely hits. 18.
Gonna try out my new Red Wasp pose. What do you guys think of this one?
Valeria.
Then move her spiritual weapon on top here.
Is that on Rovanian?
And then feet 5.
Is that Radiant Defense on Rovanian? I'll give him that symbol. Oh, he had advantage on attacking Rovanian. Cool. Okay, and then okay, spiritual weapon.
Spiritual weapon attack.
Yeah, this guy is not looking very good.
Woo!
Holy!
I think he might die. He's dead. Valeria, how does your spiritual weapon kill this?
It flies around a little bit and it rears and it kicks him right the gut, and I don't know.
So the spiritual weapon sort of flies around, gets to the other side, kicks it in the side, and you watch as the wind kind of falls off, or just the wind goes out of him completely, and the eyes kind of go glassy, as it got him right in the ribs and in the kidney. And you watch him sort of slip, and he begins to fall, and he crashes to the ground in a heap. This puff of dust just filling up, and he's just broken and bloodied on the ground, 30 feet down from where he fell.
Alright, and then it's difficult terrain.
It is difficult terrain, but it's not going to cost you anything to move out of there.
I'll go 15 feet here.
Okay. Yeah. Rudy, it runs right through him, and the horse pops out the other side with it still beating hard in its mouth and just drops it on the ground. Maximilian's Earth and Grasp goes away. So that is still difficult terrain. Okay, Rudy.
Rudy is trying to get this Etten out of her face.
Okay.
She has advantage.
Don't forget about your true strike.
Yes, that's the advantage.
21 definitely hits.
And as she swipes, and then she will follow through with a back kick. And she's going to push him 7 feet back towards the darkness.
Okay. Is the D8 the additional feat?
What's that?
The D8 you roll, is that damage, or is that where you get the +2 to make it 7?
It's both damage and additional feet.
Okay, so -2. And he's forced back about 5 feet away. One head gets caught in the darkness, and it sort of screams again as it like brings the head back out into the light.
And then I'm going to back away and say, tag in.
Okay. Our Shadow.
Our Shadow is gonna maneuver through all this broken up rock and stone.
There'll be 30 feet of movement to get through that area. Oh, so you went 10, 20, 30, 40. That's 40 feet. To that.
And he'll end his turn there until that issues another order.
Moonlight.
Heeding Zarak's command, except the thing got pushed back out of my reach, so I'm just going to fly to within reach of it and use my action to dodge. So I fly up to there, staying 20 feet in the air, and I will swoop down on my next turn, but I'm taking the dodge action.
Okay. It is the Ettin's turn, and he sort of surveys the area, and then he drops the staff and the axe, and he kind of holds his hands out to the side, kind of standing there, and just sort of mumbles in his rough speak, looking at you guys like, and he's just kind of standing there as he dropped both of his weapons on the ground.
Is he surrendering?
Rovanian is going to go... You know what? Rovanian is going to leap, jumping over the spikes, landing on the ground below, in between the two dead Et. He's going to give me a normal acrobatics. And he lands with a flourish as you drop down 5, 10, 15, 20 feet. Boom, boom, underneath the tree, and he sees that the Etin has dropped his weapons, but he's going to hold his sword out, and he's going to prepare an action to attack if the Etin charges, but he's not going to do anything. He's going to prepare an action to attack. Elise, you watch as the Etin sort of drops the staff and the battle axe it had in his hand as it's now surveying the party.
She has no idea what it's saying.
I mean, you can also read intent. It's up to you how you want to translate his body language. If you want to give me a check.
So he dropped his weapons. Yeah, I want to see, like,
Okay, give me an insight
I'll
check.
look at his face, see what I can make of it, like if it looks surrendering or not.
Yep, go ahead and give me an insight check. You're
Just like
reading
my
his body language and the confusion on his face. He looks like he wants to give up.
If he does give up, we won't. Oh, the only one that can understand him is Zarak, so we won't even know what he's trying to say.
Okay, did you want to take the dodge action, or did you want to attack him?
Yeah, she's gonna take the dodge action.
Okay, let me ask everybody here that can see him. He looks intent on surrendering, seeing the carnage around him. Are you guys gonna let him?
I don't recall in the plan, mercy.
Well, I can't really speak to advise the party, but I don't think we can, keep him as a pet like we did the big mouse. So just keep that in mind.
Keep him
I
as
love how
a pet, but
your only option is to keep him as a pet or kill him.
Dalian's whole thing has kind of been if, just like with Squidward, and I think we did it with someone else. They surrender and he'll have this one opportunity to change his ways. But if we come upon him again, though he's probably not going to understand Dalian saying that, then all bets are off.
Okay, it's Zirak's turn, so we'll see what Zirak's can do first.
So after moving to here, can I kind of see what's going on yet?
After moving to here, you definitely have a height vantage point that lets you look down. You see that the creature has dropped a staff and dropped a battle axe, and it has its hands like palms up out to the sides, and it's sort of surveying the group as the group is like still holding weapons at it, but it doesn't look like it's trying to be threatening at the moment. In the you can tell that your companions down below are being a little bit cautious.
Well, at least it knows how to survive when surrounded by insurmountable odds. I will ready an action to cast Shocking Grasp through Moonlight on Moonlight's turn when he does a flyby, if the creature picks up its weapons to attack us.
Okay. Dalian, are you just going to try to move close?
Yeah, moving the terrain.
Okay, go ahead and move. Leomorn, what are you doing?
Probably gonna move up to here next to Elise. And I am gonna prep a Misty Step, but I'm going to hand signal. I don't know if they'll understand, but I'll try to hand signal signs of are you surrender.
He has no idea what you're doing. So you're going to begin to prepare cast Misty Step, you said.
In case there's a charge.
Okay, so as you start to cast Misty Step, and you're holding that to prepare it, your Witch Bolt goes away.
Yeah, I forgot I was going to drop it.
Okay. Alright. It is top of round 5. Does anybody have the intention of trying to attack this thing?
I'm still attacking it.
Okay, Drummond, what are you doing?
I'll probably join the group that's waiting. Preparing the knife.
Valeria?
Activate.
I think we can cross now. And that's all.
Okay. Rudy?
Okay, Rudy is going to go in and she's going to attack it.
And
22 hit.
It's just the 22 mark.
Yep. Go ahead and hit Storm Song again, and then roll the damage. you go. I'm going to go ahead and roll the damage. 11.
And seeing as nobody else will come up here, I am going to perform my barrier of lightning storm. Additional 4 points of damage, and now I have a +4 to my AC.
Okay. Garshadow, Thalion, you watch as Rudy charged up, sort of very, very angrily, and then came and slashed this thing right across the stomach.
Garshadow gets ready to charge, but Thalion kind of puts his hand up, kind of looking like he's unarmed. So I halt Garshadow, and Garshadow kind of holds his turn there.
Okay. Moonlight. Ziraki watches Rudy came up, slashed it across. Thunder exploding off of her as she backs up, getting ready to strike again.
Yep, so realizing that the creature is probably going to want to strike back, I'm going to send Moonlight in to do a shocking.
Okay.
It's not wearing any metal armor, is it?
It is not.
Okay.
And a 17 will hit it.
Doing a massive 6 lightning damage. And that will end Moonlight's turn. But you guys are impressed by the fact that the owl shot lightning out of his frickin' talons in that Ettin's face.
I think the owl might be a better wizard than Zirak. Don't tell him I said that, though.
I'm just protecting Rudy, who charged in with swords in front of her. Yeah, that was crazy, but I'm helping.
It's the Ettin's turn. Taking the slash and the shock, it's going to scream. Well, it's going to roar. It's going to jump over Rudy. And it's not very far. It's a 15-foot jump. He's not going to have to make anything for that.
Alright, how many attacks were
15,
prepared for
20.
if he comes close?
If you want to attack him, you can.
Mark, you did not say that he reached down and picked up any weapons, right? So he just
He did
leapt
not
over
pick up
Rudy.
any weapons. He just jumped over after being attacked.
Do you want my,
21 will hit.
do you want my dagger throw at disadvantage or regular? Because he ended up next to me, but on his approach...
I'll say go ahead and make your dagger at normal as it was in the air, as it looked like it was jumping towards you. Leomorn, he made a move down towards the ground that would trigger your Misty Step. 11 misses.
Alright, that'd be...
So go ahead and bamf whichever 30 feet away from your Misty Step that you want to be at.
It'll probably pop up right over here.
Okay. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 feet off the map, and to your horror, this thing is fleeing away from the group towards where your horses are tied up and your 3 new hirelings are. As it is just running away as you guys attacked it while it was trying to surrender.
If it kills Ophelia, I'm blaming the first person who didn't attack it.
You better kill Moonlight, that asshole. His goddamn shocking grasp. How dare you, Moonlight?
It was
Romanian's
Rudy that
turn.
attacked first, but the first person who didn't attack him when we had him cornered. Rudy's like, right, we got him cornered. He dropped his
5,
weapons.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35,
It's a gimmick.
40. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And we're going to put them... We'll put them over here. So once you guys make your movement to this side, come to this side. So he's 40 feet off the map there. He's going to use his full movement, 35, 40, to get in front to try to stop this creature. Elise.
Um, 60. Dang, that still doesn't get me, even if I double move, it doesn't get me close to him.
Okay, go ahead and count out your double move. That's 15 feet. Okay, so you're 30 feet right to here with your double move at the very edge, and you can see him directly ahead.
Okay, so if I move there... Oh wait, I already double moved, so that I think that's
Yep.
all of my turn.
That's your action. Zirak.
Ugh, that spell is 30 foot in range. Let me see if I can get close enough for that. Nope, he's still out of range for this spell, so I will blast him with my range then. Another firebolt.
Okay. 17 hits.
Oh, I really wish, that's 15 points lost in the damage that I rolled, so I'm really trying to get higher,
Valiant.
but okay.
I still have 10 feet of movement, and I think I'm going to the other side.
How far is your movement?
35. That's 25 right there for a double movement. So I still have 10 feet.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 55, 60. Yep. 10 more feet. That'll bring you... Well, either side. Do you want to be here, or do you want to be here?
Right there works.
Okay. Bam on.
Just face palming. See. How much do I? Like, how far did he run down? Like, can I even still see any part of him right there?
From there, no. Because you have this bend you're having to deal with. So you've lost track of him around the bend, so you'd have to huff it this way to be able to see him.
Start to surrender, and then they do And then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I guess I'll just push it.
You're gonna double move?
Yeah, I'm just gonna push.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 feet will bring you either here or here.
Ooh. I just want to try to get in like 120 foot range and sight.
You could have saw him. You could have saw him from here, and that was your original movement without having to go all the way double move. So you still have an action.
Alright, well, against better judgment, I am going to try to huck another Chaos Bolt, see if I can't slow it down.
Okay. A 20 definitely hits.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want this to be acid or do you want this to be lightning?
Let's give him a shock to the system with lightning.
He gives a sort of scared yell of pain as the lightning sort of hits him. His eyes are wild. Clearly doesn't want to die. Top of round 6, Droman.
So 50 to there. I've got 10 more.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna stab with my reap.
Sounds good. Thalion, you just sort of skidded into a stop just as Rovanian did, and you watch as a small needlepoint sword sticks out of the chest before getting pulled out. And you watch as it sort of grasps with both hands at its heart, as its eyes kind of go wide and glassy, and it just sort of falls to its knees and then falls to the ground dead.
Well, that was a close one.
Yes, but I was hoping, since he was willing to surrender, that we could interrogate him, since Serac was able to understand them. Maybe find out more about what's at the end of the pass.
If I hear any of that conversation at all from up on the goat trail, I would suggest. I mean, are we out of initiative?
Where everything is dead.
Yeah, so I'll just come down and say perhaps we should search their camp. Maybe there's some indication of if they were alone or what their plans were, what their schemes were in their camp, and search them as well.
I'm gonna start back right away to look at the leader, the larger guy that me and Rovanian were standing in front of.
This one is definitely covered with more tattoos. Each of them have the same sort of large runes that you saw inscribed on the Wintercap Stone, the large obelisk that marks the ranger trail that's been used. His skin seems more weather-worn, thicker, more calloused. He is quite larger compared to the other three, And you saw him using magic that the other casters just didn't possess or didn't have the knowledge to cast. This sort of stone and earth magic. But you look around his body and he's still clutching with white-knuckled hands onto his staff. It would almost be unwieldy to a person of your guys' size. Just using, you can't even close both hands around how thick the staff is. It just seems to be this wooden tree trunk that was pulled out of the ground that he decided, I'm going to use this as a staff. Zarak, there's nothing in the camp. You see a bunch of furs, a pile of wet furs, and what seems to be a bunch of torn and broken chainmail and studded leather armor that's quite small, and what seem to be like clippings of burnt hair, as well as some charred bones of both animal and what seem to be a smaller sized humanoid.
If I hold up the armor set, does it look like something that would fit about the stature of a dwarf? I just want to confirm what Moonlight and I heard.
Yeah, it would fit about the size of a dwarf. And you can tell just by the garb, chain shirt, as well as studded leather. It looks like perhaps a ranger party of dwarves in the mountains came across them and weren't as fortunate as you guys. But other than that, there's not really any possessions. No sort of gold trinkets, just kind of their weapons. And sort of like the ceramic clay beads that they dot and decorate their hair and their beards with. But there was there's something that really stood out as you kind of look back and see Thalion kind of prodding over the body of the large leader was when he yelled out, "You dare attack the blood of the Titans." Valeria, as you poke around, there's not much. As you can imagine that these guys, just by looking at them, probably didn't desire earthly possessions like gold and silver. They seem to sort of relish in the hunt, and by the wear and tear on the soles of their feet and their weathered bodies, you could probably, with your crit, take into account that they're pretty nomadic and just sort of moved across the mountains themselves, either hunting and just sort of living kind of the way they do.
Can I, observing them, the runes that you said were painted on their bodies, I want to sketch those into my journal.
Sure. They're almost dwarven geometric in kind of the way they move, but there's certain sort of flourishes and sharp jagged edges that sort of separate it from each one and sort of makes it its own distinct sort of tattoo lining all over the body. Zarak, as you sort of look over the bodies and you see the different sorts of tattoos, you can actually pick up what almost seems to be like magical gritting in the blue tattoos on the ones that could cast the spells, sort of tattooed onto their faces, as if they were using their bodies as sort of attunement rods to sort of ground themselves to the earth and draw power from it to sort of cast their magic.
Very interesting. I'm curious. I'll take some notes about these. Probably sketch a couple of these runes in my notebook just to kind of come back to it in my studies later.
It's definitely a lot different from your knowledge of pulling from the winds of magic and the weave. You can see that the tattoos would cover the entire side of their body all the way down to their feet, and curious, you look down at the soles and sort of there in dark lines in contrast to the caked on dirt and mud and the calluses. You can see that even the tattoos have been drawn in all the way down.
It's very shamanistic. I like it. Okay, yeah. So I'll take some notes on what we found, and like I said in my chat there, that granted, eating people. Eating people is bad, Valeria. Last I checked, I think that if a person has the right that all people have the right to life and shouldn't be afeared to travel the roads for fear of being eaten by two-headed giants, I think we did the trail a service today.
I would probably ask Rovanium for some assistance and drag the bodies up to that large campfire and burn them.
Such is the life of nature, though. Survival of the fittest.
I mean, just you two. I mean, these bodies weigh like 5 tons. Like, I don't even think your combined push-pull and drag strengths be able to really move these large forms. And if you want to do all 4 of them, you're going to spend almost maybe like, with all of you together, maybe like an entire like day dragging each and every one of these.
Okay, yeah, scratch that.
Like they're huge bodies. They are massive. They weigh a lot. Even the weapons, as you sort of reach over and try to pick one up, weighs a lot. They're very crudely forged, but there's a lot of salvageable material in the metals. Because it's good mountain iron, but it's just rusty and not very well kept.
And they also wasted a good cask of ale.
So you said it was good, like iron, just not kept up?
Yeah, and I mean, it weighs a lot, so keep that in mind.
We'll see if it's on the way back after we take care of some stuff.
Was there only one cask of ale that broke? Or was there another one intact somewhere?
There is another cask of ale, as you remembered where the big one came from. Then you sort of zoom up there and you see one of the casks has been sort of dropped on the ground.
So not only could this taste very good, but it might have a label of where it came from.
I mean, as you look at them, you see that one of them on a necklace has what seems to be it sort of looks like a giant shell at first until you get closer and notice that it's a rather large toenail. You see that one of them dropped the cask of ales, and some of them have some sort of meat stuffed in a pocket. You don't know what it is, but it stinks. One of them has a necklace made of multiple humanoid skulls. Some of them are sort of deformed with like the eye sockets sort of small compared to the size of the head and the jaw, and you can immediately think of an orc as you look at it. These things killed a lot of stuff before they crossed past you guys. So, and it's a big hefty keg of ale, Drummond, that's up there. It's quite heavy, but tasty.
Now, how much would you say if Valiant tried to pick up that one mace that was dropped that weighs?
I would assume something that big that this thing is wielding. The mace itself would probably weigh 100 pounds. So you could pick it up, but you can feel the heft, but you're definitely strong enough to be able to pick this thing up in 2 hands and sort of hold it up in the air a bit before you sort of like let the head drop on the ground and hold on to that.
Okay, I will actually take one of them for its material and put it in the bag of holding.
Okay. I'll say you take one of the large battle axes, which is all mostly mountain iron. Okay, you guys go through. Really, no treasure that you can see. I mean, they were really the poorest of the poor living off of the land. Like, this is, I guess they're like the hillbilly cousins of giants, really. And you guys sort of leave them there, and you guys begin to walk back down the path. You see Tristan sort of poke his head out and sort of walk out and sort of hold out a hand. You guys meet back up, exchange information, what you will. It's probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now as you guys sort of met them quite early on in your trek up. And you guys saddle back up and sort of begin to move slowly through there. The scent of death kind of not meshing with the horses too well, but you're able to sort of move them around the giant creatures and begin your trek again back through the mountains. And instead of emerging back out into another trail, you emerge into an even sort of wider mountain/river valley as you guys can see that this landscape stretches on forever. No sign of the lake just yet, but you can see the signs of water making its way down that you know eventually went down into the waterfalls and carved down the lower mountain valleys leading out into the Barrowlands to tie in to the lakes and rivers down below. Is there anything you guys wanted to do? Anything you guys wanted to discuss?
Just be sure so we're not near Upper Middleburg just yet. Not sure.
Sorry, I was typing something out. You definitely do not see Middleburg Lake anywhere. As through this travel, you are here now entering this large valley. You see it?
Yeah.
As you've sort of wended your way up this. I'm going to make it really thin. So you guys made your way slowly these last couple days and started climbing and making your way up until you reached about here where you stopped, and then you kept going, and here is the Yettins, and then you guys kept pushing until dark, and I'll say you got to about there in your 3 days of travel so far going up the mountain.
We'll say we did work a lot better in unison as a group this time. We should definitely keep up that rhythm.
I do think our fighting is getting more coordinated, but our ideas of what to do with surrendering prisoners need.
Yeah, that might be different upbringings, different ideals. To strike an unarmed person is, to me, dishonorable, despite I do recall doing that once when we heard of what happened to Layla.
I think, in my understanding of civilization and forwarding the idea that thinking people should have the right to life, when you determine that something is taking lives for nothing else other than its selfish desires, that thing is thus labeled evil and should be eradicated. If there are those who are brave enough to take on those dangers, like us.
I think Chris, as Rovanian, would kind of speak at that. And he'd say, villages raising cattle and sheep and chickens for slaughter is no different than these giants. These are their mountains. This is where they live. their civilization.
If you, Rovanian, I'm
Exactly.
sorry to cut you off, consider a cow, and its soul as equal to mine or any other mortal man who is a free-thinking person, then I feel that you are the one that is dense in the head.
Dalian would then put a hand up. And be
All
like,
life has its place.
Indeed, and some of it is food and some of it is not.
But who are we to
And to them,
decide what is what?
We are the cattle.
Yeah, exactly.
A cow does not protest with words that you can comprehend that it should not be killed or fight back when it is slaughtered. It's
But it does
raised
not want to.
specifically. How do you know that? Do you speak cattle?
I don't think anything wants to die against its own. None of us do.
There was no honor in what we did, though we did so in self-defense.
I
will
see
say
a
there's
hierarchy.
A different way to do things. But that...
I see a hierarchy in nature, personally.
It's a moral pickle. It's a moral pickle. Those of us with intellect to understand that, hey, this is a sentient being of intelligence. Perhaps this is not worth killing or eating. Might differ from something with not as much intellect or understanding concept. We don't know. These things probably didn't have the concept of what's right and wrong. Maybe they just didn't know. Maybe they thought dwarves were just as stupid as them. I don't know. They're smaller than them, so maybe they thought they were some kind of weird animal. Who knows?
I don't understand why we're having this conversation. Wasn't the plan to clear the road? Isn't that what we did?
Yeah, we have safe travel. So making haste is good.
that was indeed the plan. The only issue was our different moral ideas of what to do when a creature who sees us as cattle decides to surrender, realizing it's losing. Do we just slaughter an unarmed creature just because it saw us as food? Or do we let it escape once it realizes we've thwarted it?
Maybe we could have taught it. I don't know. We never bothered to talk to it. The only one that could understand it was Zerak, so... I mean, you could have taught it, maybe, hey, eating people along this path is not good. You're gonna create enemies and be killed. I don't know.
Did I not also dissuade a higher being that we met in our travels, Niatu, from eating us and showed her a better way? That was another
Exactly.
example.
What's done is done.
Lost opportunity.
I will say that we are not in the lands of men. This is a civilization unto its own up here. We must be careful with what we do. And he just kind of nods to you, Zirak, sort of like an acquiescence. And he starts cleaning his blade of the blood.
Once the conversation is over, I would kind of approach Zirak and be like, once we're through all this, maybe we should compare notes on those tattoos we both drew out. Maybe you can learn from it or recreate something.
Perhaps, or at least better understand it.
Oh, Carla. And that's what we'll leave it off today. That was you guys made a hard fight very, very, very easy. So, well done for that. You guys are rolling out of your minds, and definitely some really good tactics and teamwork. And fun fact: did you guys know that if you hold Shift and you use your mouse ruler, you can move from side to side instead of going up and down on Roll20.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I saw that.
I learned the other day. I was like, how come I didn't just find this out till now? Because it's so helpful when I do maps.
I discovered it a while ago by accident. I was hoping
Thanks
to
for
get
sharing with the party, Jeremy. But yeah, thanks for killing my Ettins. I was hoping they would have posed a bit more of a challenge, but you guys whooped their butts. And what I'll do is I'll post the XP for it tomorrow, and then you guys can just add it. Actually, I'll just do it now. What the hey?
Yeah, because I think I'll level.
And my dumbass.
Mark, are we to leave ourselves as unrested, or are we planning on resting before our next get together?
Oh, so the little conversation we had here was you guys sort of riding past where the Yettins were, going further, and then camping in that sort of mountain river valley up in the peaks. You guys set up your camp. Faye cooked some food. And you guys were having this discussion before turning in for the night, and then we're going to start the next day in the next session. Morning time, you guys packing up camp and then making your way out. So
Okay.
go ahead and rest up, give everything back you guys need.
All right, well, have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Have a
Good
good
night,
night.
everybody.
Not. Bye.
Were you posting an experience in the chat, Mark, or?
I'll do it on Facebook.
Okay.
I gotta calculate it, and then I gotta take the half XP away because Chris wasn't able to make it tonight, and then I gotta add that half XP into the group XP again.
Okie doke.